Hey everybody, welcome back to Reinsurance Secrets, where we get behind the lines on how dealers are getting foursquared in their reinsurance. Welcome back, Al. Thanks for joining us again on this beautiful snowy afternoon in New England.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. I'm excited to talk about this today.
You know, Al, I couldn't tell you how excited I am because coming back from NADA, it's been very empowering for me to see what dealers have gone through and what dealers have or what agents have withheld from dealers for so long. Honestly, it's a blessing and a curse. Seeing what we were talking about out there and seeing how impactful the message was, noticing that dealers are so taken back by what we're saying to them. It's astonishing that it's gone so long in a world where we can Google anything. This is something that they can't get the answer to. This is something that they don't know. And when they ask the questions, they're not getting all the answers. And it's a blessing for us and it's a curse for the dealer because the dealer deserves to know what they're paying for. And, you know, I'm happy to have you here as with the dealer shoes on today to talk about it. I know this year you weren't able to get out to NADA, but like you and other dealers that we work with, I'm glad to be able to bring some information back to you. So, what is it? I want to know from your standpoint, how important is it to you to be informed? How important is it to you to know, just the same way you know what it costs to get a screw, to get a quart of oil, to get a gallon of windshield wiper fluid? How important is it to you to know what you're paying on fees when it comes to your reinsurance and when it comes to the contracts that you sell?
I think right now, more than ever, Sean, is important to know your costs, not just of F&I and insurance, but in general. We're entering a really interesting part of the market right now, where things have been untraditionally good for us in the car retail business. And we've had record high profits over the past few years, even though inventory was tight. But right now, we are entering the car business that I grew up in, at least, which was low margins, high competitiveness, and a lot of inventory, a lot of supply. And that we're coupling that with higher than normal interest rates and reduce consumer interest, as well as an impending election. There's a lot of uncertainty in this 2024 marketplace that it's making it more and more important to know exactly your cost to run an efficient business. And what you're bringing up is very interesting, because I find that other dealers like myself don't know exactly what the costs are when it comes to F&I. We do when it comes to a quart of oil or the nuts and bolts in the service department. But there are so many things that, coming from an agency perspective into a dealership world, I didn't see before. And that insurance agents, for a lack of a better term, I'm definitely trying to foursquare dealers. So, for example, you mentioned fees. One of the things that I see is that the dealer gets told, your admin fee. Here's your admin fee. But an admin fee, it's not an admin fee. And so what are some of the things that you heard about in NADA? And I'm curious regarding an admin fee and how dealers perceive that versus what it actually is.
Well, I'm glad you asked that, Al, because one of the things that we found out in NADA was that when a dealer asks their agent or their insurance company what their admin fee is, the answer that they're getting is just a sole stripped out admin fee. And truth be told, Al, is there's so much more to it than just those 4 letters of admin. When it comes to it, it's broken down. There is a piece of it that goes to the administrator. There is an additional piece that they don't know about per se, that gets paid in place of holding a clip. a contractual liability insurance policy to make sure that if something were to go wrong, they are covered, they are insured. But that's being omitted from the answer to that question. Some of the agents are omitting the fact that they get paid to bring business to the insurance company. Just as an insurance agent, when you insure a vehicle to drive a vehicle and you have an insurance policy, the agent that you insure with gets paid from the insurance holder, as an agent does on this side. Now, it's not a lot of money per contract, but that is something that the dealer deserves to know. And that's something that we're very clear on with our dealers, is that admin fee that we give the answer to is all encompassing. It holds every dollar that gets spent per contract. Now, on top of that, what we're finding is dealers are not aware that, okay, so maybe they negotiated a very low admin fee, but it does not incorporate what I would call an all-inclusive admin fee or an effective admin fee, because some companies still utilize seeding fees up to 10% we've seen.
And a seating fee is what exactly? Because well, I'm familiar, but there's a lot of dealers that might be listening to this. And because that one in particular is one of the ones that really ticks me off. Because if I, it's as if I went to the bank teller and they took money off the top. So how do you see a seating fee, and up to how much of a percentage do you see in the marketplace?
Well, one of the dealers that we actually just started working with, we found that they had a 9.9% seating fee. And it's really just stealing money, if you ask me. That's a personal opinion, but it really is. So if you were to go to the bank with a check for $100,000 and say, hey, I want to deposit this into my account, that's the equivalent of them saying, okay, here's a receipt for $91,000. Well, what do you mean? Why I deposited 100,000? Well, Mr. Dealer, you actually have a fee taken out called the seeding fee. When you seed that money into your account, we withhold a percentage of that money. It's now our money. We charged you to seed that money in. So when a dealer writes a remit statement for $100,000, there's money taken out of that.
So you mean that they're literally taking the insurance companies are taking money from the top just for basically handling a basic transaction. It's taking money from here and putting, oh my God.
And not to mention, you pay an admin fee. That's the short term of the statement. It is an administrative fee. You pay an administrative fee for the insurance company to administer that contract for you. Now, in my eyes, in the way we do business, is that is all encompassing. That is a total effective admin fee. That means if you get a claim, that claim is paid. And there's no fee for that. However, there are still companies out there that also charge you either a LAE, a loss adjustment expense, or a claim fee. And that percentage can vary. But that means if you have $1,000 claim that comes out, you may have a 10% fee on that. And they might charge you not only $1,000 for that claim, they might charge you an additional 10%. So you'd be paying $1,100 just to get that claim done. And that's what they charge you as their money to administer that claim when you're already paying an administrative fee.
So you mean that there are companies out there, and not to interrupt you, Sean, but just to clarify, there are companies out there that will charge me 10%, basically 9% to deposit my money, and then 10% on when my money's coming back for an effective 20%.
Yes. So the dealer that I was just speaking of that had a 9.9% seeding fee, they also had a loss adjustment fee. And so they were not only paying 9.9% on their seeded money, but every time there was a claim that was getting put through, there was money coming out of that reinsurance just to go to the administrator again.
And that's not included in when they tell me this is your admin fee.
That is not the answer that dealers are being given. And I'm not saying that all agents are saying a different answer. All I'm saying is the ones that we've done, and we've actually done an analysis on their business, that's not the answer that they're getting.
And that's that, and there was a lot of dealers that had the same sentiment when you guys went over there.
A lot of dealers, when they get the answers, they actually become angry. And just in general, because if as a human being, when you find out that somebody's stealing from you, it's a natural feeling to get angry at it. It doesn't matter who it was.
Well, one of the things I believe is that, you can win or you can learn, right? There's no losing. And so if a dealer learns about this or wants to learn more about this, how do they go about learning more or exposing the truth for themselves if they're interested?
Well, one of the things that we are doing is we are booking slots to do an analysis on the businesses for dealers. Um, what we're doing is doing a full run through a diagnosis of every part of the business to see where it is that dealers are funneling out money in their reinsurance because of agents or insurance companies that they partner with. And now there's not always the wrong answer. There could be the right answer. You could have things being done the right way, but it's great to have somebody with an outside perspective take a look.
Yeah, and what's the cost of that if I wanted to do it?
Well, so it's $997. Right now until the end of February, we are actually doing it for NADA members at no additional cost.
Awesome. Awesome. And what's part of that analysis? Like what does that break down for me as a dealer?
So there are a few different sections of it. What we do is we break down the finance office, we break down office remit statements and business produced in the finance office, and we also break down business and claims out of the service department to see where the money's going in, where the money's coming out, when it's going in, where it goes to get seated. So is it going straight into your account? Is it going into a warehouse? Is it going into a warehouse that does not earn money for you for a certain amount of time prior to being seated into your actual reinsurance? And it's a full analysis breakdown. So that way you can see how long it takes you to earn money and see how long it takes you to earn the full amount of potential in that money. ROP, return on premium. That's what it's all about.
That sounds really interesting. And what are as a dealer, what can I expect to for results? I guess what are some of the dealers doing when they do this and finding?
So we found a couple different things, and it's really about what the dealer is producing. We found that some dealers were missing about $400 per contract that they weren't being told about. That was just additional money above and beyond that was coming out, not producing them money at all in their remits. We found majority of our dealers that we've done this for have been in the hundreds of thousands of dollars a year that we've found that they could be producing additionally.
And that's net money.
That's net money. Money that the dealer is, I would say, missing.
Interesting. Well, thank you for sharing that. I'm sure that there's going to be more on the series, but that's my time for today. As I have to get a couple things going here in the store. I have actually a meeting with my managers now. So I appreciate you doing this, because this is definitely shedding some light, and a lot of dealers need to hear this information. That's for sure. So if they,
I know it's important that you were one of the dealers that got those answered before you chose what you were doing. So let's continue to show the message and show the results.
Excellent. Thank you, Sean.
Take care. Thank you.